se può pigliare King Cross pure, facciamo a King Cross, quando c'è.
Come si chiama sta via però?
King Cross.
Parlo di Appenucci, alza la voce però. Che no?
Pennucci.
Le sentite come si chiama?
No, dillo.
Te la vedo. Questa è la città delle donne belle. Quelle che alzano la coscienza.
Ma ti ha segnato le batterie, cioè gli da molto, ma che...
Interesting houses up to the left. You'll see one up there that looks like a teacup. Back end of a Spanish sailing ship designed by the Danish architect Jan Ut. For our morning break. The centre of Manly is called the Corso. It's a walkway from which there are many shops which lead off and cafes. We'll be stopping quite close to the Corso this morning, so if you wish to go for a walk there, we should have plenty of time. Once again, these tall trees, and we'll be departing from here at 11 o'clock today. 11 o'clock departure, so if you'd like a lift back into Sydney, please be back on time, because we must leave at 11. If you leave anything on the coach,
C'è per il stazione, sta nel corso.
On the left, which is St Paul's Scholasticate, and that's a training college for priests. Just here on the left, part of the army. Looking out to the right-hand side is out looking over the harbour once again. In fact, looking over Manly. If you could. Right, that's the entrance to the harbour.
Yeah, they're protected or anything. I see it on the menu once in a while. It's protected, but it's also in some areas. These areas, those areas. Oh, thank you. Since Europeans have come here, their populations is probably north of it. that point called up there? Well, this one just hitting the south head. We were over there the other day on the street. Oh, which one? The lighthouse up there? Yeah. Yeah. So that's actually this time. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Races undergoing on the harbour, and would you believe, once again, incredibly, if you try to
and also it makes sure that we have plenty of time to replenish all the lovely food, so you all have lots to eat. However, in the meantime, if you would like to purchase a refreshment, beer, wine or soft drink, both our bars on C and B deck are open. We will be serving tea and coffee a little later on in our cruise. Centre of activities for our many ferries and jet cats that service the many harbourside suburbs. This is a very historic part of our country, for it is here, in Circular Quay, that the first fleet landed. When Captain Arthur Phillip arrived way back in 1788, the harbour foreshores were inhabited by Aboriginal families. Realising he would need an interpreter, a young Aboriginal man. Well, presently we're going to cruise under the bridge to the west. We'll be taking in some of the more commercial parts of our harbour. And later on, of course, we will be taking in the beautiful eastern suburbs a little bit later on in our cruise. Also, if you are looking for the restrooms, or heads as we call them, it's a parabolic bridge, meaning that it is self-supporting. The granite columns that you see at either end, they are purely aesthetic. They are there for decoration. Built during the Depression years, at a cost of £9 million, it was opened in 1930. It has an office here. North Sydney behind it. North Sydney, the third largest, the largest in Australia. Melbourne takes second place and North Sydney is third. To our left or port side we have the finger wharves of Walsh Bay. They're called finger wharves because they jut out into the water like fingers. And the Sydney Dance Company. Lavender, a boatswain on the hulk of the Phoenix. The Phoenix was our first prison hulk, housing convicts that were awaiting transportation to Moreton Bay or Norfolk Island. And Blues Point also to our right. You see on Blues Point the first high-rise tower to be built on our harbour, named after our first ferryman, Billy Blue. A very colourful character who would throw people across to dock. If they refused, he would threaten to throw them overboard. Not a sandstone. That's a very good example of our Sydney sandstone. Maritime Services Control Tower. The Maritime Services control all shipping within our harbour. From that tower they can see right out to the north and south heads. Berries Bay, to our right, named after a Scotsman. That were convicted of their second offence after their arrival into Sydney. They would be sent and they would be given a task. That task was to carve bottle-shaped silos out of the sandstone. If the The required quota of sandstone wasn't brought up each day. For punishment, those enjoyed your lunch. Just about to pass under Sydney Harbour Bridge yet again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed eating and had your fill, perhaps you might like to wander on up to a deck. The deck above us, there is a very refreshing, lovely cool breeze up there at the moment. So if you'd like to make your way up there. A lovely old sandstone building, peeping out from between the trees. This is Government House. Governor of New South Wales lives here, of course. Rear Admiral Peter Sinclair. A little further on, to our right, we see a small cove. This is Farm Cove. Now, this was the site of our first experimental farm. It was 8.5 acres in area, and Mrs. McCoy would stroll every day from the Government House around to the point to watch the activities of the harbour, which, even in the early 1800s, was very busy indeed. Knowing that she did like to do this, her husband had the convicts carve a chair out of the rock. And we'll see Mrs. Macquarie's tree, Moreton Bay fig tree. It's like a long stone bench or long stone slab. And it has steps running up either side of Mrs. Macquarie's chair. Gold basket on the top is our centre point tower. Tallest building in Sydney, in fact, the tallest building in Australia. I do believe the seventh tallest in the world. 304.8 metres high. The turret has in it 2 revolving restaurants, 2 observation decks and 3 levels of machinery. Well worth a look. From the top you have a bird's eye view of our city, and on a clear day you can see up to 82 kilometres. Elizabeth Bay on our right, with the suburb of King's Cross behind. King's Cross was once where the Aborigines would hold their corroborees. Today, King's Cross is still attracting many people. Today, King's Cross is better known as our night spot or our red light. Better known today as the home of our Cruising Yacht Club, which, in conjunction with the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, organises the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race, leaving Sydney every year, Boxing Day, December 26th. Well, shortly as we cruise along a little further to our right, we'll come across Sydney's most exclusive residential area, if not the most exclusive residential suburb in Australia. It is Point. Back to us now as National Park. We're very pleased indeed that they did hold it, because it means that it was kept out of the hands of developers. It's lovely for us to have some foreshore like this. If you can imagine when the first fleet arrived, the 11 ships, approximately 1,300 people, perhaps this is what our harbour looked like. when that first fleet arrived. The wedding cake lighthouse to our right marks Bradley's Head. And on Bradley's Head we see the HMAS Sydney, the mast and fighting top of the old HMAS Sydney, responsible for the hitting and disabling of the German ship, the Emden, during the First World War.
Sorella, la scritta di là sotto. Sorella, di là sotto, non so. Sorella. Lore.
Stiamo solo a pagare, guarda, solo a pagare.
Mangiamo e beviamo. Allora sono stato fuori 2 giorni per vedere questo qua. Mia figlia l'ha portato. È un risicoala.
Noi ci fermiamo 6 giorni o meno.
Solo.
Sì, ma io devo ritornare a lavorare.
Io ho lasciato 2.
No.
Well, very shortly on our right, we'll be cruising past a point with 2 beautiful homes on it. Those Aussies homes are owned by the Commonwealth Government of Australia.
Stamattina ci abbiamo avuto 2 guide, parlavano a cazzo, in italiano nessuno dei due, non abbiamo capito niente, ci hanno portato dentro all'operato.
Italiana di fatti anche noi.
No, a noi non ha parlato niente italiano. Niente.
Poi ci faceva,
Volevo comprare il libricino che ho comprato pure a San Francisco.
No, qua non esiste. No, non è proprio.
A casa del poveraccio.
Sì, ma io volevo pigliare